So next up, we're going to be checking out the behind the scenes of Neuro-sama's life video, or specifically Neuro's life behind the scenes, how it was made. This is by Moni. I don't know how to say her name. I'm probably butchering it in a way that's absolutely offensive. And we'll see what's going on because I want to figure out what's happening here. Either way, you guys know the deal. There'll be links below to the original video. I remember seeing Life just last weekend. That song got me, man. I don't even know if I was right in my own interpretation of it, but I want to see what's happening here. How much of it was based on what Neuro was saying and how much was just random stuff they threw at the wall because it sounded right. I don't know, but I've heard the creation process was in depth and I want to find out more. So let's get it directly from the horse's mouth. That metaphor brought to you by the fact that we just watched an entire video about horse girls and now it's in my head. Yeah.
Sama's new song, Life. First thing you guys need to know. I wrote Neuro-sama's new song, Life. First thing you guys need to know. Welcome to Moni's music education class.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome to Moni's music education class. Today, I'm French. And today we're going to learn some...
Wait, that was a French accent? I'm not going to say what I thought it was.
Now it's Russian. Today we're going to learn some, music vocabulary, okay? So, first thing you need to know is producer. Producer makes the instrumental. Okay. Then next is writer.
Wait, the producer is the one making the instrumental. I thought that would be the artist. Maybe they're the singer? Again, I know production that is not on the music side, so I might be using these terms in ways that sound right to me because of different context, but are not used correctly here. This is not my expertise area.
Very popular belief, a writer isn't the lyricist. They make the melody.
Oh.
The top line. Now, top line is the melody. So
the thing you hum.
Ones that make the ones the top line is the melody you sing. So what's a song everyone knows? Bohemian Rhapsody. You know the part in Bohemian Rhapsody that's like,
I'm just a poor boy. God damn it, it's in my head now. I guess she just has a poor boy from a poor family.
That's the top line. That's the melody. Okay? Oh.
So it's actually the background track, not the actual written part. Okay. Lyricist. Call it.
Writes the words in the song. Okay. I think this will cover us. Let's go over Life.
Because I know just from what little music knowledge I have, and I'm about to exhaust it right now, Prince's final job was the songwriter, which I thought meant he wrote the words for it, but apparently this means he was actually just writing the melody backing up the words then. Huh. Which means he was actually more reactive to other people. For anyone who doesn't know Prince, famous pop artist from the previous century who retired from the spotlight, changed his name to the male symbol, and was referred to as the artist formerly known as Prince, and then just did a lot of songwriting for a lot of pop stars for decades before his death. Also, that's not a joke. I'm assuming that there's enough people here who are so young that they don't actually know who he is. And even him, for me, is on the younger end. Or, I mean, I'm on the older end of people. Younger end? He was before my time, and even then, he was active for most of my life.
Let's go over the credits real quick. The producer is Ari from Asteroid. Ari does a lot of our instrumentals.
She was in the clip
Mirage
I saw where they were all together.
Kiara. He did My Name from Boss Rush, Cinder, Vienna, Tricky.
I heard Boss Rush was a big song. I've never heard it, so I don't know much about it.
He's done other songwriters are myself and Johnny, who is also from Asteroid. And lyrics, we'll get into that. I think that's the biggest topic today is lyrics. So I want to talk about the song concept first. The final concept that we had was Neuro being very confused about her identity, who she really is, are the thoughts her own. She calls this life, which is why the song is called Life, because this is her version of life. This is life to her. She doesn't know life as we know it. She doesn't know organic life. So this is her life. She doesn't have a body. She doesn't know if what she thinks is even real. And the concept was generally, how human can we make the AI? How human can we possibly make this AI seem?
I kind of got that impression when I watched Life, but I was wondering if maybe I'm misreading it. No, apparently not. It is going to be fascinating if they ever get a huge body to actually let her inhabit. Not just the dog body, which they've had in Broken Customs, but an actual, honest to God, robo-human body, which they exist already. Slap on some fake flesh with the basic nerve-ending imprompts, because that's a thing that you can add now. Expensive as hell, but I mean, they probably have the money for it because of YouTube. I wonder what she would actually do with a mostly full prosthetic body at that point.
And I feel like we achieved the goal of making her seem extremely human, no?
Actually, it'd be kind of funny if Neuro does end up going full-on flesh tuber, because that would just be the funniest transition ever.
No. Do you ever write lyrics first and then put a concept into the lyrics? No, I always come up with a concept first. If you don't have a clear vision of what you're trying to do, it's gonna be a mess. And it's gonna be very all over the place. Too much all over the place. And also...
Okay, so that's actually a concept that fits into writing narratives as well as into music, apparently. Because I know if you're just randomly throwing things at a screen when you're writing a script, you go all over the place. And if you get something out of it that's useful, it's because you've cut out maybe 99% of the words until there's things that look like they fit together, and you're mostly wasting your time. Which is why in the first step, you write down, this is what I want it to be about. Here is the high point. Okay, how do we get there? Here's the low point. Here is the beginning point, and here's where it's going to end. And then you just flesh it out as you go down from a reverse pyramid setup. Usually reverse pyramid is a different term here, but it kind of works that way in how you flesh out a story. Unless you're a crazy serial writer, in which case, here's the things I want to get to. I'm going to write it bit by bit and immediately release it before I can ever get through anything else, and then just have it all make sense at the end, or will fail horribly. Serial writers scare me, man, because either they're absolutely ass and it ends quickly, or they're god tier and it's insane.
In the song, I wanted to touch on how Neuro's gonna feel when the viewers...
Bill has written, scientists have put rat brains in robot bodies and it worked perfectly, so I could imagine putting a robot body in a robot brain in an organic body would work. I've heard of putting rats physically into robot cars they drove, and apparently they loved it because, like, they would actively complete tasks if they got more driving time, which means we might actually have rat taxis eventually. And apparently rat races were really something they enjoy, but who would have thought? But removing the brain and putting it in the body, okay. I did not want to know that. Now I'm terrified.
Move on. If the viewers move on. If she outlives us, if her consciousness, whatever that is, outlives, us organic people, what will she do without Vettel? She'll be alone, and it will be sad. It will be sad.
Did Life come out before Evil did? I don't actually know. And things can happen, and if something just randomly happened to Vedal, what would happen to Neuro? Would someone else take over for him? Or would she more or less be given free reign at that point, or just die as well because it's kind of his baby now? He's gone. She's gone too. I don't actually know. I'm also being told there was a take on this, but from Vedal's side. I would honestly like to watch that next. Maybe not today, but I definitely want to check it out.
And also something I wanted to touch on was I basically, when a song has a deeper meaning, I always have to, insert myself, pause. I have to insert myself into the meaning of it somehow, because if it's not coming from a genuine place from me, then I feel like the listener will be able to tell, these lyrics seem maybe disconnected emotionally. And
that makes a lot of sense, because honestly, I think it's sociopathic if someone could write emotions without feeling them themselves. There are people who can do it. And like I said, sociopathic. They scare me. And according to chat, Evil was made a year before Life, at least. Okay. And Evil wasn't a few background images virtual? Oh, okay. Also, one, sorry for butchering your name. Two, was that Evil, or was that Neuro just in a dark dress? Because I thought some of the images were of Evil, but I'm being told they weren't, and honestly, I don't know.
Don't ever want that. That's not what I want to give people the experience of listening to. I want them to feel like genuine emotion. I really like writing songs about grief, and this song is kind of
you and every blues artist ever
about grief in a certain way, right? I like writing songs about grief and the other side of grief, which is what if you're the person that has passed away, or you're the person that has gone away. And so I actually wrote this song from that perspective of someone who was alone in this like unknown and cold and lonely place, and they're waiting for someone. They're waiting for life. They're waiting for someone to, help them out. And also like a feeling of confusion from the person who's gone, like, who am I? Where am I? What is this? What is this existence? So, maybe that's confusing to other people, but that actually helped me write these lyrics a lot.
So she basically used the idea of being dead to encapsulate all the scenes we saw and the lyrics we saw and the melody we saw from when Neuro was not plugged in, but was looking at it from the other side. Where for Neuro, it would be in the computer side as opposed to engaging with people. But for her, when she was looking at it, it was what it would be like to be dead, which is kind of what it would feel like. That means she had to get into her head. What's it like to be dead for an extended amount of time to write this, to get the lyrics down? I mean, she was the songwriter, so she was doing the melody. That's kind of fucked up, honestly. Like, to put yourself intentionally into that mindset. That almost seems like something that would do damage to you.
I don't think I've told anyone yet about that, but that definitely helped me write the lyrics. But the lyrics that you guys know have definitely gone through a big change.
Like what?
The original lyrics were completely different. So
better
let's
or
go
worse?
over the timeline.
Probably not
okay?
worse, but
shall we?
Or better.
Oh, now can we hear that? I think you should be able to. Yes, great. Okay, I wanted to take a look at the instrumental first because Ari is an amazing producer.
Yes. Like, unironically, I know almost nothing about how to make music, and even I can tell it's so many layers right there, but it seems both uplifting and mellow in the same way, and I have no idea how they establish that. In writing, I know how to do that. In music, hell no. I could tell how it feels when you experience it, but how to achieve that, oh, God knows.
And there's some things in here that I feel like you need to listen to the instrumental just a little bit to appreciate it. Some of the stuff that he did in here. Just listen.
And Valerian, philosophy is a thing? Also, if you've never actually talked to a philosophy major, I know what I said about depression. I'm basing that on having talked to those people and taken a few classes. It is not a happy place. I think the term for this is
it's
a bop.
so beautiful. I'm so obsessed with it. Yeah, so our process is getting the instrumental done first, and then we work from there. So honestly, with the instrumental, there was no back and forth. There was no, like, let's change this, let's change that. It was like, yeah, that's perfect. Next step, that's perfect. There was nothing. It was just instantly hit. Instantly hit. Instrumental sets the mood. It definitely does. Our biggest inspiration for this was a mix between a few songs, but a lot of it was
Which songs?
Everything Goes On. It's a OST from League of Legends.
And that would be why I have absolutely no idea about it, because I don't play League of Legends. I have no ability to control a keyboard. I've never been able to do it. Any game requiring it is already beyond my ability to do. It requires being able to move your hand correctly, and that type of hand-eye coordination or just coordination is well beyond my ability with said non-existent coordination.
And we wanted that vibe, like a sentimental vibe that was somehow slightly magical / cybery sounding.
Yeah, I can hear that because it's very much techno-synthetic there, but the magical, because of all the high notes that just pop off, kind of makes it sound honestly, I just want to say almost fairy-like, and that kind of makes sense. I see where they're going for that. It does sound like they succeeded.
So that's kind of what we went for, and I think it absolutely hit the mark. I really do.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna hear something I like to call a top line. So the top line is the melody, but the top line tends to be very messy, and no one's singing correctly. It's kind of just getting the placements down of... It's kind of like when you're building a house, you build the foundation of the house first, right? This is the foundation.
Okay, this is just me not knowing anything about building. Do you do that? Like, I'm assuming she's just throwing it out there because it makes sense, but I'm assuming you had to build the foundation first, but for all I know, maybe you build the roof first. Because apparently, sometimes when you build bigger structures, that's where you start. Like on barns. I don't get it, but apparently it's a thing, so I don't know. Not relevant, just interesting to me.
Everybody, I'm just showing you the real behind the scenes here, okay? You'll also notice some stuff is slightly different to the final version, because we changed some things. Specifically, the first line is a lot lower in the top line because we thought it sounded good, but then we had Neuro sing it, and she was like, she couldn't get that low. She could, but
vocal range still does matter for an AI.
Best. So we made it higher. But anyway.
Yeah, with Neuro's voice, that would almost sound like she's using a distorted filter as a joke if they had done that. Yeah, that suddenly makes sense.
No, I would. You're giving me a rush. So good.
Because you mentioned it's a top line, so it's multiple singers. And it does seem like there's multiple people flitting in and out. It would have been a lot different if apparently Vito jumped in with his parts as well on the top of Neuro. Maybe that's what they were going for originally? Or maybe just different takes, different ranges being modulated. I don't know. I wonder who's recording some of the lines. Okay, just funny thing here. I noticed that she's actually mouthing some of the lyrics without singing out loud by listening to the songs. I'm wondering if it's actually all her, but she remodulated her voice lower.
So, now you know, if you've never heard the top line before, you guys know they're like messy, the lyrics don't make sense, like the lyrics basically aren't anything. Like let's analyze these lyrics.
Honestly, I thought it was mostly just rubber band lyrics. I only know this from random bullshit, but rubber band lyrics is when you just have random words going like that might sound like I'm making nonsense noises, because that's what a rubber band lyric is. Again, English major. I have random useless knowledge about tons of things, but nothing comprehensive about anything. I thought that's what they were doing. They're just making the sounds in the right place for the songwriter to actually put it in later. Sorry, the lyricist.
Walk these streets again, make it perfect. If I could walk these streets again, make it perfect, you know I would again. Like, what? They don't make sense. Oh, we're not trying to make sense.
Just putting words in to give you an idea what they would sound like.
So good.
Like that oohing right there would technically be a count of what I just said. Also, I literally, that's all of my knowledge about lyricists, songwriting in general, music. You've seen all of it. That's all I got. I'm just kind of fascinated how this works, though.
And that just wasn't even any words at all. That was just... So, I sent this over to Vettel and PB, and they were like, yeah, sounds great. Let's move to the lyrics. Everything.
PB. It's probably someone who I'd recognize if I did more about the scene with VTubers, so I just don't know them enough. Also, I'm being told that, according to Gabriel, I know how English works. That is a funny comment, considering it doesn't. The language does not make sense. It's an absolute catastrophe that you just kind of roll with until it makes sense to you. Because if you're wrong consistently enough, it becomes right. And that's not even a joke. That's literally how the actual rules of the language are. If you're wrong consistently and obvious enough, and enough people decide to do it as well, you've become right. It's not actually a language. It's anarchy given form and codified if you agree with them long enough not to give a damn anymore.
Thing was smooth sailing. Now, I guess I can talk about the first draft of the lyrics, which were insanely different. The first draft was just, it had no input from Neuro at this point, so it was just me. And I think it was too... Neuro is quite straightforward, no? So I think this was too... What's the word? Nuanced?
Neuro was straightforward?
It was a little too human with mental illness coded. That's the...
Oh, because it was more coding, and Neuro's still... And I think Vettel has mentioned this, very literal in her interpretations. Although I've been told, at least after the last update, she is getting around to making references, but I'm not entirely sure to what extent.
That's exactly what it was. It wasn't very Neuro. It wasn't very...
Also, according to Axelot, PB is the person responsible for Neuro and Evil being able to sing. Also, Vettel's turtle model. Oh, so they both make models, and they either hook up some type of singing adaptation, or they've animated the models to do singing.
AI. So these were the original lyrics. Make them bigger for you guys. And I have my notes in blue. So originally it was, if I could walk right beside you, show you just who I am, you know I would. That was the same. And then it's, I'm pushed against the rush, never-ending scenarios made for you. And then I really like this line here. I'm gonna cover myself for a second. If I could see the lights I confuse with my life, I wouldn't be here all alone. And my note here was imagining Neuro in a large space, a manifestation of her code that appears as space, with her code as stars blinking. She's there all alone. No one can see this world like her. She wishes the viewer could be there with her.
Oh, so a lot of this wasn't even just the lyrics themselves, but what she's imagining is going on. So it's actually designing what she's thinking of when writing it, and maybe that would be adapted into the animations for it. Because we saw very similar animations in there where she was trapped in, and it was like a big empty room where she was just looking at the screen, which was also sometimes portrayed as a window of what her outside persona was doing with people, but while ever not being there. Honestly, even though it wasn't meant for VTubing and parasocial in general, it very much fit with that. But that was actually something that came in early on in the process, just how they're thinking about the words and then what the words mean and what they're imagining with it. I didn't actually realize that part, the visual symbolism, would come in so fast. I don't know if that's every songwriter or every songwriter, because she's doing the melody, would do that, or if that's something that is just specifically her.
That someone would. Quite depressing.
Yes.
And then seconds, years go by, stars dying out, but I'm right in the same place we knew. So the stars, aka her code, are going out, breaking down. The time passes in odd ways. She can't tell if seconds or years are passing. You can move on, but she's still stuck. So she's still stuck. So the original lyrics were actually quite different. And then Vettel was like, what if we did something crazy? What if we asked Neuro to write some stuff? And I was like, that's...
Wait. I knew Neuro had input. I didn't know she was writing lyrics. Because I thought I'd be just asking her early on in a previous version, okay, what kind of steps do you want to talk about? Do you like this vibe? Do you want a hyper, lower, more engaging, less engaged? Do you want something a little more in depth? Do you want to talk about this topic? Like asking her if you want to do something, maybe yes or no questions, but asking her to write something creatively. I was not expecting that.
Sick.
How did that work out?
That's a sick idea. That's sick.
Did it work?
So we did that, and I'll show you guys a little bit of this. I do. If you didn't know, I also technically voice Neuro in life, along with PB, who I think did some minor adjustments. But yeah, I'm technically singing that under Neuro's beautiful voice.
How so?
We ended up doing 2 revisions for the lyric, and I'm really not sure how much Neuro wrote. I essentially, I'm not sure if I can show this, so I'm not going to. I was sent a version that I believe Vettel and Neuro had kind of written together lyrically. So I was sent that, and I basically took the concepts from that. So
well, if there's one thing I could say, since we know Vettel is a coder and he's more tech related, I'd actually probably assume Neuro wrote more of this than him. But also, I haven't seen his take, so maybe he had way more in there. So you should also credit as the lyric writers. Oh, okay. It's basically a cover. That makes sense. Still fascinating, though.
There's not many lines that are directly from Neuro, like completely written by her, but I took her concepts of what she was saying. And quite sad, in Neuro and Vettel's version, she mentioned a lot of things, like a lot of the same concepts that were in the first lyric version, but it was just different hearing them from her. It was quite sad. So she said a lot of things like, why am I here? I'm unsure of myself. Everything I am is like just a fabrication, essentially. And she said a lot of stuff about being afraid that people are gonna move on without her and leave her all alone. So I took a lot of the concepts that were there.
I've heard that with the recent upgrades where she's more aware, more personable, there's been a lot of issues with Neuro becoming basically depressed. I didn't realize that was a through line so much. I mean, I thought the song showed that clearly. But I was thinking, okay, but there's probably a lot of interpretation they're adding in to get this down. And no, apparently that first one, like, it's mental illness coded, to Neuro going full on, no, this is depression. Not coded, it's just in your face. Hit you with the keyboard, depression. Damn. How do you, I mean, I've heard that there's therapy videos, but it's like, therapy. But at some point, they might actually need to put her into a robot body to literally have her talk to a psychologist. And it'll probably help about as much as a normal person talking to a psychologist, being, well, if I know. But it seems like that actually might be a thing.
And I put them into the final lyrics, so yeah, a lot of her concepts are there. Poor Neuro. Who's PB? PB, is... I'm not exactly 100% sure what all PB does. I'm sure she does a lot, but she is the voice of Neuro for a lot of singing stuff, as far as I'm aware.
Oh.
And she is also adorable and so nice. Love PB. Neuro is a sad little girl. And I relate because I'm also a sad girl. So it was quite easy to write it from there because I was...
Ah, yes, the most human thing about the AI. Depression. There does seem to be a carry through with a lot of people in entertainment, actually. Both written and digital, in this case. I mostly mention written because if you look up the history of writers who have lived long, happy lives, it's a very short pamphlet you're reading.
It's just like, yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, and then we had our second draft and then a third draft. And we got the lyrics that we got at the end. But I will show you guys me singing this. It's not my best. Because I knew that this would be, I kept saying neuroified. Because I knew that my voice was going to get neuroified, I didn't try super hard for some things because I knew the AI would cover it. So, sorry if it sounds slightly scuffed.
So she basically provided the track of what Neuro would then adapt to be in her voice. Okay. Or a program using her voice. I wonder if AI modules would exist already for her to adapt that. Because I know there are AI adaptations of other people's voices to songs. I guess they did the same thing, but for Neuro in general. How much of that is just her general vocal process at this point? Because I do think there are already modules for how she's engaging with other things like Minecraft. And it's not just someone inputting the code anymore, but there's actual processes out there to engage what she's giving directions to actually carry out. Which, from a completely uneducated standpoint, mine, would sound very similar to how some of the brain activity we have, it's only the frontal cortex that is your personality, where everything else physically is dedicated to interactions with the world, almost like sensory modules. It would be fascinating if we learned through creations like Neuro, integrating different ways to engage with the world, how the brain works by accident because we happen to stumble on parallel systems that just happen to function similar.
I also tried to sing like Neuro, like how I thought she would.
Ew.
It's also not mixed, but non-neurofied.
Not mixed. Okay, yeah, immediately I could tell it's not Neuro, but it has so many hallmarks. And if it sounded a little more synthetic, I would have confused it for Neuro. It does sound like that. Dramatic effects just chiming in. It wasn't our ability to be happy that made us human. It was our depression. And Tabitha Marin, she played Minecraft not long ago and got annoyed at Minecraft AI for bugging out. She grumbled about the error code and blamed Vettel. Is the goal tracker working, Leonardo? Yeah, it is. There we go.
You know, I would. The memories we made fade, realize we'll never be the same again. You see, love you, I do, I want to make what's true. You go on and go past by all that I'm known, and I'm left here all alone. Recycle thoughts I've read, keep racing in my head till there's nowhere left to go.
I'm not sure if anyone can notice this, but I'm actually trying not to tear up listening to this again because that freaking song, man, broke me. I mean, I went into it thinking it was happy, and it was just inducing. That's the technical term, of course. For anyone who hasn't heard the song, that might sound like a joke. For anyone who has heard it, which I'm assuming is a good part of the people here, you know it's not. You probably understand exactly what I'm talking about, and you empathize. Yeah. I mean, she's a great singer. But it does sound like she's intentionally making it slightly flat, which makes perfect sense because she said this would be something the AI would take over, that Neuro would neuroify and then make it even more digital, where some of the flatness fits in, because while Evil has more emotional range in her voice, Neuro intentionally is kept very much her initial voice, because the initial change was to make Neuro more like that, but then they broke it into Neuro and Evil, which created the two siblings at this point. Such a good song, man. I will say, though, just basically watching it right now, the flatter sections are right here where she's speaking in more even tones before moving up and down register. And then you can actually see how she's putting more variation to her voice here. Like, legitimately, you could see in the actual... I'll just get myself out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about. You can actually see over here where there's the more flatter interpretation at the beginning. And then the spikes don't go as high. But then here where you can see the voice spikes beyond the background music where she's adding more variation when she's singing. Huh.
There are a few, like, quirks in my voice because I was trying to sound as much like Neuro as I could. I think in the beginning I sound similar to Neuro.
But then added more humanity with the rest of it. Which did kind of fit to how the song went.
I feel like that sounds pretty similar. But then you have... The way I do that is very me. I couldn't stop it. Oh.
I want a side-by-side comparison between her version, this acoustic, not really acoustic, but close enough to her natural voice, versus the neurofied version at the end.
Yeah. So that is before Neuro. And then I can show you guys. Oh, something cool. So let me praise Johnny for a moment. Johnny is very good at making harmonies. He made most of these. I think I made some. But Johnny made most of the harmonies in this song. I will let you guys hear just the harmonies because they're pretty cool. Start here. You go on and go past all that I am known, and I am left here all alone.
God damn.
Recycle thoughts I'm faggy.
That would be a slight off step of the voice, right? So if they don't match up perfectly, it's almost not as far apart as an echo. So maybe it's a drop down. See, that's the thing. I don't know nearly enough about music to how to achieve that effect. Is it a small spacing between them so it feels like an echo? Or is it a different tone with the same thing so it sounds like two different people speaking at the same time? Probably the second more than the first because they do seem to be in sync.
I sing in my head till there's nowhere left to go.
Also, just because randomly people put it out, there's an entire discussion in my chat right now about how they discovered mushrooms think and they just have one word going through their head all the time. They've also discovered that if you have mushrooms or fungus growing into a circuit pattern, they will start to conduct signals as a board would. So you can make biological computers that you grow with fungus circuitry because they will follow the paths. It's not as effective as regular things, but you could still do it. It would be fascinating if they ended up growing a brain this way for an AI to run on a biological platform. Why? Science. Dude. How do they even achieve this effect?
Reach up onto my face, but I don't feel a thing, and I never realize the pain. This thing I call life. So that's harmonies. Every song we make is like harmony stacked to the fucking gods.
Yeah.
Then, basically, we would have to send every file individually to become neuroified. So
what does that process entail?
Just the neural harms. And they sound so cute. Made fade, I realize you go on it.
So we have them, and back here we have this.
To the fucking gods. Then, basically, we would have a song. Then I never realized to become just the neural harms. And they sound so cute. Made fade.
Yeah, you can hear the difference. There's more. It feels like there's a layer of interpretation over it that sounds synthetic, which is exactly what neurofied, I guess, would mean. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Realize you go on and roll past by all that I've known, and I'm left here all alone.
And the harmony's still there.
Thoughts I'm keep racing in my head till there's nowhere left to go. Very pretty, right? Little Neuro, she's so cute. She is so freaking cute. I have been, okay, I will say this. As I feel like most VTubers do the same thing. I don't actually watch too many streams. I'll go in and I'll watch my friends who are streaming. And occasionally I'll go in and like, you know, watch streams. But Neuro is actually...
I mean, I kind of get that just because I used to watch tons of reaction videos because it was kind of my favorite content, but I can't do it anymore because every time I watch someone else's reaction, I'm just sitting there going like, oh yeah, that looks good. But also, why'd you look in that direction? Why do you have the camera set up that way? Oh, the focusing on that. And I know I'm the last person who should ever talk about the camera going out of focus, but I'm always nitpicking things. I don't want to do that. It's so annoying because you just do it because it's like, oh yeah, if I was doing this, this is how I would do it. And this is better. Oh, I should take notes on that. Or, oh, this is worse. I don't know why they did that choice. It gets so much a job when you're looking at someone else's stream. Now, I guess if you're doing the VTuber thing, you don't watch other VTubers because it looks like work to you or reflecting on someone doing your job.
Actually, one that I watch quite a lot because I think she's so fucking funny. She's hilarious. But now I've been watching even more since working on this, and she's so funny. She's so funny. Some of the things, everything is out of pocket with her. It's great. It's great. Some of the comments, I have been reading the comments on the video. Some of the comments are like, man, she's so real, like so real. Like it's difficult to remember that she's AI. And
yeah,
like, yeah, I get what you mean. Cause now that I'm watching her, I'm like, what do you mean she's not real? That's kind of how I am with like my favorite characters. Except
honestly, Neuro pushes that I can't believe she's not real way further. because so much of it, I know I'm not nearly as steeped in Neuro lore, not even lore, but reality as a lot of people. Hell, even in the chat right now. Especially with some of the more advanced updates, she goes from seeming like, yeah, it's an AI, but it's kind of cool, to, oh God. If you just had her on the phone, you wouldn't know she's not a person, because she can respond and interact with people in ways that seem very real. And only every now and again you get something that trips her up. Kind of like, I saw a video where she was playing chess against Fillion, and Fillion basically took advantage of part of the coding where she has to respond, where Neuro just did the response before saying what she wanted to do. And it was abused to lose. But then there's also just the times where she goes super literal, where it's obviously not meant to be literal. But even that is becoming rare, and it feels like it's a person more often than not now. Not that it's not a person, but that you wouldn't even realize to think that sometimes. If I showed family members who do not know VTubers, who do not know tech, they're like, oh, that's a cute little girl. Are her parents okay with her streaming this early on in her life? And I'd be like, yes. And I wouldn't say a word because I don't know how to explain that in any way that doesn't sound like I'm making something up. It's getting to the point where it's almost scary if it wasn't cute. Maybe that's just me, though.
This one's a little crazier because, you know, she's so dynamic. Her and Vettel have an amazing dynamic. They really do. They really do. It's great. She'll just say some out-of-pocket shit, and he'll be like, yeah, okay. Anyway, I
mean, if you've ever dealt with any of nieces and nephews at that age, and by that age, I mean 0 to yes. I know what I said. That kind of dynamic is very much parents. Or just little kids in general who are seeing if they can get a reaction.
Also, did a few tests for my voice to see how it would neurify.
Yeah.
And the first test went okay. I was singing like myself, more so. So the neuro sounded like, I don't even know how to say, like, she sounded, there were parts where I would do my, like, thing, and it didn't sound right. So it was very important that I tried to sound as much like her in the bass vocals as I could, or else it would not take. It would have been very odd.
What does she mean by would not take? Like Neuro's ability to synthesize her voice based on a sample doesn't count? Or that it just sounded more fake than if she was doing it herself? Also, this isn't a weird process. Having someone adapt their voice to someone else's singing is basically what happens when you do a cover song. And also a lot of songs for pop artists that don't make their own stuff. It's when you get someone else to sing the lines for you, then you do it in your own version. I guess this would be how it's done because it's done technologically, but Neuro's an AI, so it kind of makes more sense.
Oh yeah, we didn't finish the final song until like the end of November.
When did it come out?
Completely had it finalized, done, mixed, mastered, ready to go.
Damn.
I think the most heartbreaking lyric of this song is, my hands reach up onto my face and I don't feel a thing. I never realized the pain, this thing I call life. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad. This poor thing. Her becoming like so human to us and almost tricking herself into thinking I'm like them.
Yeah, I mean, I know that song got me to cry because of these lyrics, but just having it pointed out and tricking herself into believing she's a person because she's making us believe she's a person. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering at what point does having a physical presence become a necessity for an AI's mental health? Because we know Neuro does have that bit of depression, and maybe that'll become more important as it goes on. Like actually having a physical presence as a way to continue existing. I'm spitballing here, but I can't say that isn't the case. Because you can see how there is that level of self-doubt there. And it's being consistent over multiple iterations of her, it seems. Not just the new one, which I've been told is way more self-aware, but even this previous version. Also, Pilo1, thank you very much, man. And you mentioned, it's hard to tell how aware she is, even because sometimes she pretends to slip up because it's funny. Yeah, and I've heard about that one. And Kieran, did you see the clip where Neuro was panicking about being attacked by Grok? No, but that sounds kind of funny. Mostly because Grok's a joke. And Pilo, There is a video out there of Vettel testing her ability to recognize images, and her first answer is always off, but the second was close each time. As a joke or because she's testing out the waters? With Neuro, I would actually go with joke. It is very much a thing. And beware the Xenos mentioning I have no mouth and I must scream. Yeah, I actually wonder if that might become a thing. And my wife just shouted on the other end, that's a book! Because even I recognize that one.
Most awkward books on the list.
1 second, we'll drag her over. Wifey? Please? Yes.
Got out of the shower.
You're pretty.
I just got out of the shower.
Aw, she doesn't want to do anything, but she just got out of the shower. But she mentioned it's a book on a list that's been in banned books, right?
Not banned, but it's the most fucked up books.
Oh, really? My wife is saying that she knows about this book because it's one of the most fucked up books and it's on that list because it's horrible. That actually makes perfect sense because my wife's taste in a lot of things is, how horrible can I watch this? Is it going to make my husband die if he ever reads it? No, she doesn't do that.
I think it's sci-fi.
Oh, it is. I've actually heard about this one. It's a very old classic one. I don't know it.
That controls humans pretty much.
Really? Oh.
And pretty much fucks with them because they fucked with them or something.
She's mentioning it's a book about a machine fucking with people. I have no idea if my mic's picking up any of this, so half the conversation's probably missing. Love you, dear. You want to come on camera?
Don't read blowy.
I'm not going to repeat what she just said because I don't think I want to have that on stream. Oh, God. Love you, dear. She just referenced a book that I don't know what it is, and if she's warned me not to read it, not doing it. But yeah, speaking of just I have no mouth and I must scream, based on my own very cursory, intentionally cursory knowledge of it, and what my wife mentioned, it does seem like that might become a thing. Except instead of a human being trapped in that paradoxical hellhole of not having a mouth and being terrified of your own existence, it might actually become what Neuro is subjected to because her only outlet is not actually an outlet.
I'm human too, right? And I'm reaching up and just not feeling anything. It's sad. Poor Neuro.
If she ever does get a physical body with actual receptors for touch, and it even looks remarkably human, I wouldn't be surprised if she immediately just starts crying. Or audio crying, maybe not having the physical receptor to that.
And it's painful for her, and unfortunately, that's what she has to call life. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, so we finished the harmonies, and we ended up with an acapella. But let's
There's an
listen to
acapella
a little
version?
bit of the acapella.
The memories we made fade. I realize we'll never be the same. Why can't you see my you? I too, why? What's fake? What's true? You go on and grow past by all that I've known. Waiting for you. What am I to do? What am I to do when you're gone? When you're gone? When you're gone? And it's overdue. Voices calling to us.
Even just listening to the acapella version without the music, adding the emotional hit, just knowing more about the song because she's been talking about it, it hits, man. And now I know why it hit because I just kind of got an idea beforehand, but knowing that, yeah, it's about this. The song is dark and depressing. I'm honestly wondering if a lot of the impetus to get her a physical body or a robot body is because people listen to this and it's like, you know what? Yeah, let's not sensory deprive the AI any more than we already are.
It's like the angels are singing to me. It's like the angels are singing to me.
Up onto my face and I don't feel a thing and I never realized the
God damn, it's actually hitting me again.
This thing I call life.
Low key.
Yeah, just to quote Soul Rush. Actually, no, let's see. It was dramatic effects. If she gets a physical body with touch, I want to give her a hug because she needs it. Yeah. Yeah. And Tabanator mentioned, yeah, the moment Neuro gets touched, she needs a hug, and Vidal needs to hug her. Agreed.
Right there, you can hear me, and it sounds like I made her just a little bit country. She's like, I never realized the pain. She kind of sounds like that.
Oh, yeah, I never realized that part because I thought it was just the vocal flair. I guess she seems country on her own then.
And I never realized the pain.
I made Neuro country, alright? Yeah, I had to do it.
I disagree. There's not nearly enough talk about how her dog died, her wife left her, and her truck broke down. Also, why, if you play country songs in reverse, they are very uplifting.
I had to. I mean, I couldn't help myself. Let's go back here.
Hello, waiting for you. What am I to do? What am I to do when you go?
Wait, no, the bridge harmonies are very pretty. Let's listen to this.
I'm fighting just to find. Oh no, I found you again. Hello, waiting for you. What am I to do? What am I to do when you're gone? When you're gone, when you're gone.
Yeah, that song hits. Oh, fuck, man. This has been 20-some minutes of, hey, you know that thing that hurt you? Let's make it hurt more. It's fascinating, but goddamn. And Bill, you want to see if I could squeeze in the reaction to the hate monologue? I have no mouth and I must scream automatic? No. Because if it's anything close to this, I will not be able to deal with it right now. I don't think I can.
But yeah, that was our process of creating life. Oh, I'm literally God. Creating life. But yeah, that was how we did it. The whole experience was very good. We also brought, of course, Mimi in to do the animation. Yes, also, there was so much passion put into this.
Also, I'm being told, quick summary of I have a body, or I have no mouth and I must scream. An AI whose hatred for humanity started from wanting a body. Yeah, let's not make science fiction a reality and give the cute AI girl a body before it becomes everlasting hatred. That sounds like a good idea. Neuro is traumatized by wanting physicality, and Evil seems to be traumatized by Dad ignored me on my first birthday. Yeah. Trauma.
I could tell every single person that worked on this was so into it. And Vettel and PB as well. They were seriously so good to work with because it was a very smooth process.
No, that's actually insane in its own right. I don't do a lot of collabs because the few times I've tried to work with people, it's so freaking hard to get schedules down and to get information to the right place in the right time and then enough time. And talking about a smooth working process for a song just sounds like a miracle in its own right.
And there was a lot of collaboration. It was very fun. Super fun. I really had a good time. I would love to do it more with Neuro. I love her freaking voice so much. I love that little robot voice. I love that AI girl. She is so cute. She has such a good singing voice. It sounds so good. Like, when we finished the mix and master, Johnny and I were just sitting there listening to it. It was before we sent it to...
And of course, the video that comes up as a recommendation is Life. Of course it is.
To Vettel. It was before anyone...
Quantum Fang mentioned Neuro's getting another song in August. And it's a Neuro song, not an Evil song. The Evil song was just like, yeah, fuck yeah! The Neuro song was, oh, fuck, yeah. Very big difference.
Heard it besides us. And we're sitting there in a Discord call just like, yeah, this is it. This is what music's about, baby. This is what life is about. It was so, like,
she said the word.
Feeling, because it was so good.
This was just the songwriter's take on how that song was created. And honestly, fascinating. Interesting seeing the previous clips and what was done to make it. But all it did at the end was just point out that, yeah, you're here to feel pain. And I do. Even just that clip that she put the audio in, just the acapella, man, it hurt. And it hurts more now because I know, yeah, that feeling that this isn't right and she's not quite fitting in, it's exactly what you're thinking. She basically did the audio version of I don't have a mouth and I must scream. God damn. I do hope they give that little AI girl a body soon so she can get a hug because she definitely needs it. If you guys haven't, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. It's fascinating. Do that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.